What's up, chat? Chatteroni here. Last video I left off saying that AAA games aren't the only games that are out there, and you just have to look for the other games that actually respect your time. Well, here I am to recommend you 5 indie games that I personally have enjoyed. They're cheaper than AAA games, they're fun, and they run well on almost any gaming rig. I'll also be having a few honorable mentions at the end for the games that didn't make my list, but those are still games that warrant a trying out. If there are any games that you guys would also like to recommend, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think deserves a look. Also, this isn't a sponsored video, it's just coming from a guy who's broke due to recent circumstances, and I still love the game on a budget. So, to start off, there's a website by the name of Humble Bundle that frequently hand out a ton of games for cheap. Humble Bundle usually has a monthly deal where you can purchase a bundle of games for whatever price you're feeling. You can pay $10, $15, $20 or more. Usually there's a cap on what you get back for those precious dollars that you spend, but this current bundle that I'm showing you will net you 8 new games for the low price of $15 minimum. Games like Control, Pray for the Gods, and Senua's Sacrifice are great games that are massively discounted when you purchase games through this website, which are an absolute steal. The Humble Bundle website also gives you Steam keys that you can redeem and download your game with no hassle at all. Now that y'all know about Humble Bundle and all of its savings, let's get on to the recommendations. Number 5. Rimworld. Rimworld, developed by Ludian Studios, is a sci-fi colony simulator where you are in control of a few colonists at the start, and there are threats at every corner. You must build up your settlement in order to provide and protect your colonists while they go on about, eking a meager existence out of nothing. There are many ways to play this game, and difficulty can be chosen through choosing an AI director, of which are Cassandra Classic, the regular difficulty, Phoebe Chillax, which is the peaceful difficulty, and Randy Random, which is the hard difficulty, just through the sheer randomness of events that could occur. As you begin the game, you're shown a list of colonists that you could pick to bring on your journey, and they each have their passions, shown by a flame next to a skill, quirks, and a backstory that all affect their potential growth. The graphics of the game may not be all that, but that's not the meat and potatoes of the actual game. Rimworld can get wacky in so many ways. As an example, I was invaded by raiders and I successfully repelled them. I stripped the raiders naked in order to take their gear, and after I dragged their bleeding bodies into my base, I told my doctor to harvest as many of their organs as possible. After the first few organ harvests, my doctor had a mental break and started breaking furniture and objects, while all of my other colonists had a negative mood debuff for the organ harvesting. After my doctor got over their silly little tantrum, they finished harvesting the organs, and then I had my chef butcher them and give the human leather to my tailor in order to make human leather furniture and clothing. The organs that I liberated from the bodies of the raiders were sold off to the black market, and then I also kept a few spare organs just in case one of my colonists got shot or stabbed in the lungs. If you don't want to go down the route I took, you could also just enslave them and put them into involuntary labor roles for the good of the colony. But where's the fun in that? I told my colonists to gather around the Autobong, a device that gets everyone high if they stand around it, and fed them chocolate so they can get over the crimes against humanity they've just committed. Recent expansions to the game have also given your colonists the ability to have children, so you can bring innocent life into existence, and show them what the real world has in store for them. Also, with the most recent expansion, you can make your colonists into furry hybrids if you so choose, turning your colonists into half-dog, half-human creatures, and more. It's an amazing game that's limited by your imagination, and it's also highly moddable to boot, so you can install the quality of life features or add new races that aren't originally in-game. Number 4. Project Zomboid. Based off the ASCII game, Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, Project Zomboid, developed by the Indie Stone, is a wonderful and atmospheric apocalyptic survival game in which all hell is broken loose as a zombie plague ravages through the population of Kentucky. You must loot, craft, and kill anything in your path to ensure you survive another day in a hopeless world. You, and your friends if you have them, play as survivors scavenging through the devastated lands in order to eke out a meager existence in this terrifying new reality. Project Zomboid, in my opinion, takes survival RPGs to the next level. You have a wide variety of classes and builds to choose from, and you must select positive and negative traits that will stick with you for the rest of your short and miserable life. You can choose a variety of professions, ranging from the lowly burger flipper to a veteran who has become desensitized to the panic due to years of participating in live combat, both of which provide different passive abilities. I've been playing this game a lot recently, even though I've had it in my Steam library for a while, and I've got to say that I'm hooked and I can't get enough. When I play, time flies by as I manage the needs of my character, increase their capabilities, and manage resources. In Project Zomboid, you can build your own base, requiring you to get the materials from the land around you, such as cutting down trees for lumber, and then using a saw to turn that lumber into usable planks, and then you need a hammer and some nails in order to erect your fortress. This game is also highly configurable, as you can go into the custom sandbox settings to tweak all of the game's parameters like zombie density, available loot, and even the contractability of the zombie virus. Project Zomboid is also highly moddable and has an extremely involved player base, as a Steam workshop is chock full of player-made maps, clothing mods, weapon mods, car mods, conversion mods, and much more. The game is also currently in active development, so the devs, the Indie Stone, are slowly elevating this already great game into something more. The game is currently on Steam for $20, and I think that's a really good deal. Also, Project Zomboid frequently goes on discount, and the lowest price it's ever been was $9, which is a must grab if you see it at that price. I promise you, if you guys try this out, you won't be disappointed by this masterpiece. Number 3. Dusk, and other New Blood games. Created by the developer David Szymanski and published by New Blood Interactive, Dusk is an amazing boomer shooter. Dusk takes the gameplay of Doom and transfers it into a low-poly game, and it translates very well. Dusk is action-packed, has a good atmosphere, and it'll leave you feeling a little bit spooked. But it also provides a power fantasy that not many other games do well. If you like fast-paced, action-filled gameplay, this game would be up your alley. Along with Dusk, New Blood Interactive also has a wide variety of games that are just as, if not more, intense than Dusk, such as Ultra Kill, which takes the fast and frenetic gameplay of Dusk and ups it by 10 by adding air dashes, bullet parries, and even a style meter that shows your performance in the game by pushing you to achieve the rank of Triple S through the perfection of gameplay. New Blood Interactive have also published the spiritual successor of Thief by the name of Gloomwood. Although Gloomwood is still in its early access, what's available to play is extremely polished and well designed. Placed in a Victorian-era city, you must use stealth and a variety of strange weapons in order to achieve your goal. While not as action-oriented as Dusk or Ultra Kill, Gloomwood is still an amazing stealth action game that scratches the itch for people who crave to skulk around in the dark, being a threat unseen. Like I said though, if you're a fan of Thief or any stealth game like Thief, this game would be the right choice for you. New Blood Interactive have released nothing but bangers that caters to people interested in a wide variety of genres. I highly recommend that you check them out and their games, if anything of what I said interests you. Number 2. Kenshi. Developed and published by Lo-Fi Games, Kenshi is a top-down, real-time strategy-like game that has base building and character management, set in a destroyed world that shows glimpses of the past through environmental storytelling. You and your band of goons travel the world in search of better loot and gear to equip yourselves while encountering bloodthirsty cannibals, slavers looking for fresh meat, dangerous wildlife that will eat people alive, and much more. You can settle down anywhere you'd like as well, but be warned, keep an eye on the powers that control the land you inhabit, as they will come to you and request tribute, or you risk being slaughtered. You can choose a variety of races ranging from the Shek, a hardy warrior race that takes less damage and has more health than a normal person would, to a skeleton, which is this game's version of sentient robots. Another thing to remember, should you pick up and play this game, is that you will lose. Getting beaten and getting back up only makes you stronger, and defeat is not the end. I understand that Kenshi may not be for everyone, but if you're looking for a new experience in which you dictate what the story is, I suggest this game. This game does have a few issues though, like the garish UI, slow XP gains, and not being able to recruit people you capture and store in prison, but those issues can be easily solved with mods from the Steam Workshop. The main draw of this game for me is the way you can do almost anything you'd like in this game, and with the power of mods, you can add in anything to your liking. In my previous playthrough of the game, I had set up a base and placed an arena set in the center, surrounded by giant statues and crucifixes in between them, to hold the poor souls who sought to destroy me. Anytime I wanted to train one of my character's skills, I send them into the arena and release a prisoner from their crucifix, and attack the prisoner until they fell unconscious. And their comrades could do nothing but watch in horror as I beat them into a pulp for that sweet, sweet EXP. I would place the beaten prisoner back in their crucifix as I let the next prisoner out to duel my trainee, and they would meet the same fate. It's a really immersive game that has no restrictions on the things you can do. If you wanted to, you could be a bandit that attacks caravans for their loot, or you go up to faction leaders and take them out, causing the world to change for better or for worse. The game right now is on Steam for $29.99, and it occasionally goes on sale for half the price or cheaper, depending on where you get the game. If anything I said interests you about the game, I suggest you purchase it and try it out. You won't be disappointed. Number 1. Deep Rock Galactic. Last but not least, Deep Rock Galactic is created by Ghost Ship Games and published by Coffee Stain Studios. Deep Rock Galactic is a wonderfully crafted and atmospheric game in which you are a dwarven mercenary, employed by a galaxy-wide mining megacorp by the name of Deep Rock Galactic, and your mission is to raid the planet of Hoxie's 4 and claim its precious minerals while fighting back hordes of hostile bugs that stand in your way. The gameplay is reminiscent of Left 4 Dead, and is mainly co-op, as you and 3 other dwarves must work together in order to complete your quotas. But you can also play this game solo should you wish to do so. This game features 4 classes: the Scout, who is highly mobile and can provide light in the darkest areas, the Gunner, who can put out insane firepower, the Engineer, who can utilize turrets and platforms to lock an area down, and the Driller, who can traverse through terrain, enabling the team to move a lot more freely and effectively. The gameplay loop is really engaging in my opinion. You get shot out of a space station into the planet, and as you step outside of the drop pod, you're greeted by the natives of the planet, and you must fend them off before you begin collecting gold, nitra, and other precious minerals you can use to upgrade the gear and your looks. Speaking of customization, you can customize your dwarf with a plethora of beards, hairstyles, and armor choices, and the best part is that these cosmetics are earned through gameplay. Some skins are sold individually on the Steam store page, but the prices are reasonable, and it actually supports the developers, which allow them to continue updating and adding more content to the game, entirely free of charge. Personally, I've bought this game since the early access release, and I've dumped about 1,500 hours into this game over the span of 5 years. It's truly such a good feeling to see a game come into its own and flourish. The amount of customization and weapon builds you can have in this game is staggering, as you can mix and match a variety of weapon modifications to suit your bug killing needs. The player base of this game is also one of the best I've encountered in my years of gaming, and they're extremely accepting of newcomers and will show any new player the ropes of the game. If you're looking for a 4-player game that really scratches that itch of working together to survive, this game's here for you. Currently being sold at $30, this game is a steal for the amount of time that you would put into this game. The game also goes on sale quite often, going down to the low price of $10, making this a must-get. Recently, one of my personal friends just got hooked onto this game, and he's already dumped about 100 hours into it in the first 3 weeks he's owned it. That's a testament to how good this game really is. I highly suggest that you guys go check it out if you're looking for something meaty and deep to sink your teeth into. There are some games that didn't make my list, but they're still good nonetheless. Let's get into the honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is a game where you and 3 other people go into a haunted house, and your mission is to hunt and identify the ghost that is haunting the property. This game is pretty scary, and it's a great experience if you're feeling the need to experience just a little bit of horror. One of the negatives of this game is that the player base isn't exactly great to newcomers, and there are a few asshats that'll troll you, but that's the constant in any game. Not all of it's bad though, as I've met and continue to talk to many of the people I've met in-game. If you ever wanted to be a ghost hunter, this will do it for you. Just so you know, this game also has VR compatibility, and it will run you about $14 USD. Honorable mention number 2, Mini Healer. If you're like me, you love to play the support class and keep people on your squad fully healed while taking on monstrous bosses during raids. Well, the game Mini Healer gives you that experience of those raids, and you can do it without the whining of the other players that would get onto you when they end up dying due to their own mistakes. It's a fun little game that you guys should try out, and it'll run you $8 USD. Number 3, Mountain Blade Bannerlord. If you've ever wanted to control an entire army on the battlefield, Mountain Blade does it well. You start off as a nobody, and you make a name for yourself by going around and recruiting willing soldiers and fighting battles that continuously increase in size. This game really makes you think tactically, as you must control and direct your army into defensive or offensive positions in order to secure a victory. This game's a little bit more on the expensive side of indie games, running you a pretty $50. But if that's too expensive for you, you can try out the older game, Mountain Blade Warband, which gives you the same experience, except the graphics are a little bit more aged, for $20. Warband also goes on sale frequently, so if you want to pick it up when it's on sale. And that's the end of my recommendations. Remember, if you think there's a game that also deserves to get looked at, make sure to leave a comment down below with the title of the game, as I'll be checking them out as well. There are so many games that I haven't heard of that deserve to be played, so I'll do my best to keep up. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.